Welcome to Brandshatch for rounds 11 and 12 of the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup. Daniel Reason starts on pole position for the first of today's races, but it's championship duo of Rob Baker in second and Mark Grice in third that are really going to be the ones to watch. Before I hand you over to Richard, John Neal and the commentary team, we were able to take a chance to speak with our two championship contenders before the race. Rob, championship leader coming into the last few rounds of the Honda Cup. Championship position now, it's looking fairly safe.
Yeah, I haven't really worked it out properly because you can't work out people's drop scores and people's results for the next 4 races. But you know, as long as we keep finishing in the top 5, top 6, I think it should be okay.
Mark, good to see you here at Brandshatch, second in the championship, chasing Rob down. For only a few races left to go, what can you do?
All I can do is keep pressing hard and hope he makes mistakes and just keep on him and just plod away. If I can salvage a few points from him over him this weekend, then it'll all go down to Donington and see how it goes from there.
Daniel Reason on the front row with Rob Baker for company, then Mark Grice and James Griffith, Jason Ballantyne and David Buckley, row 3. Row 4, Daniel Hobson and David Vincent from Bruce Winfield and Ben Sharp, then Lewis Rose and Matt Bolton. Scott Edgar on row 7 from Chris Coomer, then it's Paul Taylor and Martin DL, Andy Hart and Ollie Barsby on the 9th row. Row 10, Adam Kruger and Cameron Tunio, Luke Handley, Paul McHugh and Craig Carter completing our grid. This is round 11 of the championship under blue skies. A little bit of cloud cover, but nothing to worry about. Good start there by Jason Ballantyne, makes a super start from 5th place. Ballantyne away well, the whole field away well. Relatively narrow here, and especially that is frightening. Look at Ballantyne weaving his way through the cars and up, I think, into 3rd position. Ballantyne had a little bit of a wobble there as they go up Hailwards Hill into Druids for the first time. Cracking start from the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup. Looking to come around the outside there in white and green was David Vincent, but they're side by side for the lead here. Baker's got the line going down into Grand Hill Bend in the blue car, the championship leader, and he's going to, I think, get the lead as they go along Cooper Straight for the first time. Great view from Danny Hobson into the left-hander at Surtees, still side by side for the lead, and I said that Baker was going to get it, but Reason's got the inside line now, and that's a reason to be cheerful. Reason's got the lead. Now coming through into 2nd place is Jason Ballantyne. Ballantyne into 2nd. What a start, what a first lap from 5th position up into P2. The championship leader's on the outside line. He'll try and go around the outside of Paddock Hill Bend, but he's slotted into 3rd place here, and that's sensible driving from Baker. The championship leader into 3rd, but Ballantyne really on a mission. The man who lies 3rd in the championship standings. Daniel Reason 4th in the championship. Baker runs a little bit wide there, and going up the inside line is James Griffith. They're all fighting it out. Hobson goes wide. That allows the 75 of David Vincent to come through. What a start to round 11 of the championship. You've only got 4 more races, including this one, for the 2018 campaign. What a season. We've had so many different winners. And remember, we didn't get a second race winner this year until round 7 at Snetterton, when Danny Hobson picked up his 2nd win of the year. And Danny's 5th in the championship jointly with James Griffith. On board with David Buckley. David starting off 6th on the grid. And I think maintaining 6th position at the moment. The blue and white car, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, yeah, I think he is at the minute. Goes through Paddock Hill Bend at the bottom, that tummy-wrenching moment when you hit the bottom and then start to climb uphill. There's David Buckley in the 51, the EP3, one retirement so far this year, which was round 3 on Anglesey. The pace here, absolutely electric this weekend, a 54-second pole position lap for Daniel Reason. He was only 1/10 quicker than Rob Baker, the championship leader, as Adam Kruger looks down the inside line of Matt Bolton's EP3. Matt's back for the first time since Alton Park. He only did 1 race at Alton, but good to see him back in the mix as Danny Hobson continues to put pressure on David Vincent, buzzing the pit wall. So it's Danny Reason out front from Jason Ballantyne, then Rob Baker, a little bit of drift to those at the moment, then James Griffith in 4th position, and David Buckley still giving chase as well as they head up under the Burton Power Bridge into the Druids hairpin once again. Danny Hobson really getting close there. What a view you get from these onboards and indeed the outfield. So these very, very colourful cars putting on a great show here. The Brands Indy circuit, very, very tight circuit. And these cars so evenly matched. What a great training ground for the British Touring Car Championship. Maybe prior to that, Clio Cup racing maybe. But great championship in its own right, never mind where it might lead. We've seen some super racing so far this year, kicking off at Silverstone, of course, which is where we saw Daniel Rhys taking pole position and the opening race win of the year. Looks like we might have a battle in the offing here. Danny Hobson chasing hard, looks to the outside line. Didn't quite doing there, may go for the cut back here out of Paddock Hill Bend. Before you can say too much, they're already up at the apex at Druids. There is Hobson in the 25, tied with James Griffith in 5th position on the championship, both on total points scored and on drop scores. You just cannot separate the pair of them from 5th position in the championship. At the moment, Griffith's got the upper hand in this race, so he'll break that deadlock if things stay the way that they are at the moment. Probably guessing that they won't. There is Griffith in that standout red and fluorescent yellow car, being put under pressure by Mark Grice, running 2nd in the championship. Mark 29 points behind Jason Baker. That narrows on drop scores. Baker really gets past. David Buki, I think, hit the curb and he's spinning around and into the gravel, a cloud of gravel over the windscreen, and that is curtains for David Buki. Well, there was I pontificating on the championship positions, and Buki disappears from 6th. He was ahead of David Vincent and Danny Hobson. And that's got to be a safety car there, because that's in a real prone position. Anytime a car goes off into the gravel at Brandshatch, you're going, particularly at Paddock Hill Bend, you're going to put the safety car out, because it's not a safe place for the driver to be. Let's just wait for the mid-order. You can see that the race leaders have got away. Safety car is going to be ideal for the midfielders who are coming through here. Chris Coomer heading Scott Edgar. Scott qualifying 13th, Chris 14th, so row 7 starts for them. They're the guys that are going to be fighting it out to try and be on the front row for race 2. You can see the waved yellow flags are out, and it's a full course caution because the yellows there were coming out of Clark Curve onto Bradham Straight. There's David Buki's car in the gravel. So, although we haven't seen the safety car yet, the race leader has gone through. The safety car is out on circuit and we'll pick them up. The 55 car we're looking at is Chris Coomer. 195 Paul Taylor going through shot. And Luke Handlin 15, newcomer this weekend, as indeed... I was going to say, as indeed is Matt Bolton, but Matt, of course, a returnee to racing. But we have got newcomers, Scott Edgar and Cameron Tunney. I remember Cameron racing in the BARC Southeastern Centre races. Here's a replay of what happened. David Buki, you can see he was out on the curb and that unsettled the car. There was no contact behind. And just a little bit wide, gets punished for that, into the gravel. There is that dust storm. Once the dust settles, we'll get the recovery in action. Here's the view from Daniel Hobson. You can see David's car just unsettled by the curb on the outside line. He was trying to get a sweep and close in on the car in front. And it's going to be a non-finish for David Buki. 2nd retirement of the year. He retired in race 3 of the season, which was on Anglesey, 29th of April. So the former champion being towed away to safety by the wonderful marshals, doing a superb job as the race leaders go past. James Griffith in 27. Moment to catch up on championship points. Rob Baker leads by 29 points on total scores. Jason Ballantyne 3rd, the man there in shot, but Baker drops 25 points. Massive points drop for him for two good scores that he drops. That brings him down to 176. Mark Grice 2nd in the championship, 172 on total points, drops 10. That puts him on 162, 14 behind Rob Baker. So as long as Rob finishes in front of Mark Grice, and he was in qualifying, and he's at the moment in the race, that's his main contender, and who he's going to be looking after. David Buki's car now on the move, so super work by the marshals. You can see they're going to tow him off to the inside of the track, so they have to wait for a break in the race traffic. I reckon we're going to get another safety car lap here as the 77 car continues to lead. And Daniel Reason had a good lead here, but I don't think he'll be that phased. Having won a race already this year, he knows he's got the pace. He was pulling away from the guys at the start of the race, had the fastest lap, was fastest in qualifying as well. So it's about getting the start right for him. He'll be looking in his mirrors, and the key moment is David Buki's car is now brought to the infield, and we towed a little bit further onto the infield for safety's sake. The key thing for Daniel Reason, I was saying, going back to the start, which should be by the end of this lap, is he'll probably nail it when he sees Jason Ballantyne maybe doing a bit of a weave to warm up the tyres, and then he'll go and pull away. So it's Reason, Ballantyne, Baker and Griffith, your top four at the moment as the safety car comes around Druids. And let's just watch to see when the lights are going out. So Rob Baker in the third position at the moment. Won't extend the championship lead, but he is protecting it, being on the podium once again. Baker with, if he finishes here, it'll be his first third place of the year. So just keeping an eye on the stats. 1 win, 5 second places, no thirds. Mark Grice 2 wins, no seconds, 3 thirds. Jason Ballantyne, who's running in second, hasn't got a second place. So they're playing podium bingo. They're all going to tick a few blanks here. Safety car lights are out. Look at Daniel Reason doing absolutely the right thing. This is his race. He is controlling it at the moment and nails it now as they come out of Surtees. Well, Jason Ballantyne wasn't weaving at that point, but I reckon that's a decent enough restart there by Daniel Reason. Is going to get away. Mark Grice busy chasing James Griffith. That could be key as the race goes on, but it's a good restart here by Daniel Reason, who goes across the line. This is round 11 of the championship. Reason, whose first win of the year was way back in round 1 at Silverstone, the TCR meeting, the opening TCR meeting of the season, of course. And he's looking very good here. He hasn't had any pressure other than the pressure that he maybe has put himself under in this race. Look at David Vincent getting well stuck in here at the moment to the back of Mark Grice, who's second in the championship. Grice needs to get a clear run at the blue car. 2 machines in front of him, Rob Baker, to try and negate the points lead that Baker's got. I wonder if Baker is, I don't think he's going to be in a position to wrap the championship up today. Might be a different scenario after race 2, because the points available will drop. There are only 2 races left. That'll be at Donington Park on the 14th of October, and it's a reverse grid race. Remember, the top 10 finishers get reversed for the grid for our second race of the weekend here at Brandshatch. But this is looking very much like a Daniel Reason win here. Danny Hobson in 7th place. We've got some real quality drivers spread across the top 10. David Vincent still trying to put the pressure on. One mistake here. This is real cat and mouse stuff. We're not seeing too many attempts at passing, but it is very much a game of cat and mouse, because these cars and drivers are so evenly matched. It's about a tiny mistake, maybe affording a driver a little bit more momentum and a chance to have a look up the inside line or maybe the outside line to make up a place. James Griffith definitely under pressure from Mark Grice. Grice under pressure from Vincent, with Danny Hobson in blue and yellow at the back of that group as well. Here they come out of Clark Curve once again onto the Brabham straight. They'll tick off another lap as we watch them back to 7th place. Rob Ball with the 7th place driver at the moment, past the place where David Buki went off. Nobody really making any mistakes at the moment, and you can see the 34 car, Mark Grice, having a little look to see if there's a gap on the inside, but can't do anything about it at this stage. Exit of Druids, all okay there. Over to the right-hand side of the track to grab the apex of Graham Hill. They're careful not to run wide here. It's a couple of wheels over the red and white. Not getting any track limits penalties coming up on the timing screen. So driving standards have been absolutely spot on throughout this 15-minute race so far, and things getting closer again. Griffith being closed up on by Grice, who's trying to get through on that inside line, but it's covered at the right points there. by James Griffith just ahead of him. Danny Hobson is going to have a go. Is he going to look wide? Hobson there, the third of the cars we're looking at, blue and yellow, still looking to try and close down David Vincent and Mark Grice in front of him. Oh, he gets a little bit wide there. Is that going to cause a problem? Hobson is now on the outside line and trying to close down on Vincent, but Grice has survived that. Hobson has survived that. Goodness me, it could have all changed. And even a little error like that hasn't cost the driver. Maybe lost a little bit of momentum on James Griffith, who's running in 4th place, but they all survived. It's still Reason, Valentine, Baker, your top 3, Griffith 4, then Mark Grice, David Vincent and Daniel Hobson. And they're really forming a train still after 15 minutes of racing, punctuated by the safety car. What a race we have had here as they go on to the last lap with Daniel Reason's improved the best lap time again. 54.713 for Reason. There he is. He's still pushing. Fastest lap for him on the penultimate lap of the race. Jason Ballantyne is second. Watch for Ballantyne coming through shot. He's still there. Rob Baker in third is going to tick that third position box for the first time this year. 1 win, 5 seconds and a third, assuming it stays the way that they are at the moment. Along the straight, through Surtees, left-hander, right-hander now at McLaren and into Clearways, the continual right-hander at Clearways now, and Daniel Reason in the FN2. What a job he's done, and it's going to be fascinating to see what he can do from 10th on the grid. 10th at the moment is Chris Coomer. He'll get pole for race 2, but this one has been all about Daniel Reason. It is a reason to be cheerful. He takes the win here of round 11 of the championship. Jason Ballantyne second, then Rob Baker and James Griffith, Mark Grice 5th from David Vincent, Danny Hobson, Ben Sharp, Paul Taylor and Chris Coomer in 10th place. Scott Edgar was 11th from Matt Bolton and Luke Handy. Andy Hart next from Ollie Barsby, Cameron Tunio, Paul McHugh, Craig Carter and Lewis Rose completing the finishers. Fastest lap with Daniel Reason the winner.
Daniel likes to flag victory, but it wasn't as easy as it sounds.
No, we made a good start, made plenty of ground at the beginning, and then the safety car came out. I thought, oh no, here we go, all to do again. But we got a good restart, and that was the most important thing, and then just controlled it after that.
Jason, following on from Castle Combe, this looked like it was going to be a good circuit for you. Qualifying not quite as good, but you made up for it in the race.
Yeah, not the strongest in qualifying, but got another brilliant start and made up a lot of ground in the first few corners, and yeah, it made it up in the race. It was really good.
Rob, probably not the way that you wanted the race to finish, but critically for the championship, some good points. Everything seemed to happen on the opening lap, though.
Yeah, all happened on the opening lap, and I'm happy with third. I mean, the dramas we had on Friday to come in, go P2 in qualifying and finish P3, I'm happy with that, really happy.
The cars are getting ready to go out on track for the final race this weekend in the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup. The top 10 have a reverse grid, so that means Chris Coomer is on pole position. But as we saw in race 1, anything can happen in the Civic Cup. The racing is that close. To take you through all of the action, it's over to Richard John Neal.
Thank you, Lloyd. Chris Coomer on pole, Ben Sharp, who's second at Snetterton to his outside, then Danny Hobson and David Vincent, Mark Grice and James Griffith on row 3. Row 4, Rob Baker and Jason Ballantyne, followed by Daniel Reason and Scott Edgar. Matt Bolton and Paul Taylor are next from Luke Handley and Andy Hart. Ollie Barsby and Cameron Tunio, row 8. Row 9, Paul McHugh and Craig Carter. They're followed by Lewis Rose and Adam Kruger. David Buki, Bruce Winfield and Martin DL with a fair amount to achieve in this race. There is Danny Hobson, who starts on row 2. He's in line for some decent points maybe here. From 4th on the grid, the lights go out. He makes a very good start. So too do Ben Sharp and Chris Coomer at the front. But David Buki's on an absolute mission from the back. Looks down the inside line, bang, into the back of Luke Handley. Not what Luke wanted at all. David Buki was very keen to try and come through. He's got Ollie Barsby right in front of him now in the number 10. So Buki looking to book a place in the top 10, he would hope. Jason Ballantyne there, second in race number 1, right in the mix as well. Right behind Cam Tunio at the moment, coming down Graham Hill Bend. Buki hard on the brakes. Martin DL immediately in front of us. Couple of cars going a little bit wide on that first lap. The clerks of the course will excuse that. But out front, it's Mark Grice who's come through in lead position. Mark Grice from the third row of the grid has read everything superbly on that opening lap. David Buki still making positions up. He's on the inside line of Martin DL. He's going to try and come through. Is there room? Just about squeezing his way through. David Buki obviously looking to make progress. There's the onboard from Martin's car. David through. And on the inside line as well, Lewis Rose, who was second in round 1 of the year, and you might have seen slowing in race number 1. There was so much going on. I didn't individually pick it out, but Lewis did drop back, and he's capable of moving obviously quite a way further up the field. Chris Cooper, though, second at the moment and chasing Mark Grice. Danny Hobson in the mix as well, having started in third place on the grid, and he's in fourth position at the moment, chasing Ben Sharp. Ben, as we said, round 8 was his podium, and Danny Hobson teeing him up here. Thought he might have a look down the inside line, but Sharp's got it covered as they come onto the main straight here. Cloud cover less than we had in race number 1, but the sun lower down in the sky, as you could see from the glint on the highly polished bonnets and the windscreens of these cars. David Buki now looking at the 133 of Andy Hart. Andy has been knocking on the door of the top 10, hasn't quite achieved it yet. Buki lunges down the inside line, gives him a little tap on the way into Druids, and Buki through. Little tap from Martin DL as well. He's definitely been in the wars, the 133 car. So Buki and DL getting stuck in, and now we've got Lewis Rose looking to try and go through as well. Lewis, who was second in round 1 to Daniel Reason, who won the first race. Remember, the top 10 positions reversed here. Championship-wise, absolutely key, of course, to try and move up. If you win race 1, it's a very tall order, I would say, particularly here at Brandshatch, to make decent enough progress. And really, you're probably looking at the drivers in the mid of the top 10 to come through and win, as we've seen. Easy for me to say, I suppose, as we've seen Mark Grice come through from row 3 and take up the mantle of the race lead, which is there. Kuma still in that second place, but some really good racing going on here as well in the field for 5th and 6th position. So Ben Sharp at the moment ahead of David Vincent. Then we've got James Griffith in the mix as well, all following pretty much the right line along Cooper Straight. So it is about either going for a dive, and what David Buki was doing there was what he felt he had to do, make a dive on the inside line. And I guess some of the other runners will know that they've got fast boys who didn't have a finish in race 1 starting behind them. On board anyway with Danny Hobson, third place at the moment. Chris Kuma is the man in front. Chris having best result this year of 7th position, round 10, race 2 at Castle Combe. And this is the great thing about the reverse grid racing. It can build confidence for new drivers, or rebuild confidence for drivers who have been up at the sharp end before. Look how crowded it is. Ballantyne side by side with Reason in black, the race 1 winner, having to go on the curves to try and find the way past Jason Ballantyne, but can't quite do it. The Griffith and Hobson battle, by the way, for 5th in the championship, settled in favour of Griffith. Of course, they're 4 wide along the Cooper Straight, but sort themselves out in time for Surtees. It's James Griffith at the head of that one. Jason Ballantyne has managed to break clear now of Daniel Reason. Reason still putting in some good laps, but it's physical stuff. Back on board with Martin DL. And we've got a problem here. That is Andy Hart's rear quarter. So we said he was in the wars. That's going to get the mechanical warning flag, or the meatball flag, call it what you will. The black flag with the orange blob. Oh, problems there for Hart. Before he could get the flag, he's off into the gravel. Now, was that an irony? I don't know if that was caused by the contact from David Buki. It might have been with another driver, but that's where Buki ended up in race 1. And poor old Andy Hart is going to have his first retirement of the year, and that again has got to be a full course cautional safety car where that machine is. So Andy Hart, again, this is such a quick lap. It's not the easiest of circuits for the organisers to ping the safety car out straight away, because it is a short lap, less than a minute. But the yellow flags will be there. You can see the marshals gesticulating to everyone. The yellow flag's out there from the marshals, and we've got the full course caution in operation. They'll slow down. Safety car board is out now. You just see that. I've got to say, the onboard cameras really give you the idea. And if you're focused on what's going on in front, the last thing really you're looking for are flags. You've got to be aware of them. That's why they're waved so vigorously by the marshal, so that you can actually see it. Why they're bright colours as well, which is a common sense thing to say perhaps, but drivers very often have something else on their mind about chasing the car in front rather than slowing down. But the marshals have done their job, the drivers have slowed down as well. There is Paul Taylor in the 195. So safety car out. It's going to be a couple of laps again to retrieve Andy Hart's car from the gravel here in round 12 of the championship. Andy, the first retirement of the race on lap 7. Now, championship-wise, no changes in the championship positions, although there were little subtle changes in the top 6 points. Rob Baker now on 219 before drop scores. Mark Grice on 186. Grice is going to close that down again. After this race, we've still got 2 rounds to go at Donington Park. And that's 2 lots of 26 points, 52 points available. So the championship is going to go to Donington Park. And the key thing is that Rob Baker will be looking for a championship lead of 26 points so he can park up and not have to do the last race of the year. That's pretty much how drop scores work, although I expect that Rob will probably race in the last race anyway, even if he was 26 points clear. But we're going to have to wait till mid-October for that. It's going to be a really good race. You can see the work that the marshals have to do. They put it on hold while they wait for the field to go through. And that car will be moved to safety. There is David Vincent in the 75 car. I've spoken a lot about the top 6 in the championship. David 7th coming here, ahead of Ben Sharp, Bruce Winfield 9th. The top 10 completed by Lewis Rose. David Buki was joint 10th, Chris Coombe 11th. So you can see there's the replay of Andy Hart's spin, and a very good reactions there from the following car as well. So both races punctuated by safety car pretty much mid-race. You've got to say just past mid-race here. And because it is a timed race, 15-minute race, it means that the drivers get a bit of a breather, and the organisers will be keen not to leave the safety car out for too long because it does eat into the racing time. But they'll get going again, and it's Mark Grice who is going to be the man looking to try and bag his, not his second, his 3rd win of the year, because he won race 2 at Castle Combe as well. We're on to another lap. The safety car lights are still on at the moment. Grice, I think, will be the first driver this year to win races on consecutive meetings, if my statistics are correct. So, but he's still got work to do. Let's not forget that. So there he is in the 34. Danny Hobson right behind him in blue and yellow in the 25 car. Hobson looking to close in on James Griffith here. Now, points-wise, how's that going to pan out? Because Hobson's in 2nd, which is 22 points, and Griffith in 5th on 16, which is a gap of 6 points. And there are 5 points between them, so Hobson could nick 5th position in the championship back here. Or it's going to be very, very tight, and then we've got to take the drop scores into account as well. But the safety car lights are off, and Mark Grice is leading. I tell you what, there's a bit of space between these cars. There goes the safety car. Danny Hobson busy chasing, but it's Mark Grice out front at the moment. Leads into the last 6 minutes of the race as they pick up the green flags. A good start by everybody, not too close. Still got some place changes going on. So, top 3 going through well. Chris Coombe still there in 3rd place. There is Daniel Reason going through shot in the 77. So Dan running a little bit wide, has lost a wee bit of ground on Jason Ballantyne. And under pressure here, all the drivers can feel that they're under pressure. We've got Ben Sharp immediately behind the man from Northamptonshire, busy putting pressure on Dan Reason. Wait for them to come into shot. No, we won't. We'll flick back to Martin Diel. Heading westwards here, as you can tell from the sun in the sky. And and off onto the grass, straight lining this. Worrying when you come back on. Car's under control though. And Martin Diel, I think, becoming a retirement. So Martin Diel's going to be our second retiree of round 12. Not the way he wanted the race to end. Back on board with the battle for the lead. It's Mark Grice out front. Still Chris Coomer running in third place. David Vincent closing in on him though in the 75 car. Ben Sharp on the inside line here of championship leader Rob Baker, who's trying to go the long way round, tucks back in, annexes that place. We've got some ducking and diving going on between these boys at the moment, so a quartet battling it out there for, I think, 7th or 8th position as Martin Diel walks away from his car, which I'm guessing is fairly safely out of the way at the moment. We're going to pick up briefly on Cam Tunio there as Danny Hobson still gives chase. Daniel Reason still setting decent lap times. He's further back, but that really underlines how difficult it is to pass in these reverse grid races in the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup. Here we go, up under the Burton Bridge again. Chris Coomer coming under pressure for third place. James Griffith is not that far behind as well, currently in 5th position. Rob Baker taking a nice wide line there again. Let's watch for him to come through on that outside line. Not afraid to stick the car there. He's going to grab the inside line going down. Here's the view from David Buki. Not that far behind Baker, who's got the position, but I think it might get swapped again, depending on the run along Cooper Straight and into Surtees. I think that Baker's managed to get that position consolidated up ahead of Ben Sharp. Yes, it looks like he has. David Buki in behind. The 195 car is Paul Taylor. So Paul having a decent run. David Buki has come through from the back of the field. And we won't talk about penalties for the moment on race times, but what we will talk about is Chris Coomer, who's driving superbly here in third place at the moment, under pressure from David Vincent. And in fact, Coomer is busy challenging Danny Hobson for second place. So we'll see what Coomer can do. Coomer, the black car with the white front, piling the pressure on at the minute. Danny Hobson, he's the man in front of the black and white car. Danny Hobson in second place, and all he can do is defend. He can't really live with Mark Grice at the moment. Grice's best lap of 54.9, Hobson in the 55s. But now we're starting to see Chris Coomer come under a little bit of pressure here, so David Vincent's going to have a look at him. Hobson, relatively clear track in front of him. Look at the battle for third place, side by side, in fact, for 4th position as they go into Paddock Hill Bend once again. Superb race. Coomer's been, in fact, it was third place that was side by side, so Coomer, in fact, is now down behind David Vincent. So David Vincent's made it past. David Vincent now challenging Danny Hobson, or trying to close in and challenge on Danny Hobson, but we've got James Griffith next up, then Jason Ballantyne, Daniel Reason in 7th place in black at the back of this group into the closing stages. I'm wondering whether we're going to see David Vincent move up another place here. Mark Grice is away and down the road. Here they come again across the line, so Grice a clear leader at the minute. Hobson in a great shot of that very slight dip as they go on to the last lap. Daniel Reason now has got the fastest lap again on the penultimate lap of the race, exactly as he did in race number 1. But it's Mark Grice who is going, by the look of it, to take the win, a 3rd win of the year, the first driver to bag 3 wins this year, Grice, and the first to take them in back-to-back meetings by the look of it. Still got half a lap to go. So Grice in front, Hobson second, David Vincent in 3rd. We're on board with Danny Hobson in 2nd place, and Hobson, I think, will reclaim 5th position, maybe jointly on the standings after this race. They go past the stricken car of Martin Diel. Only 2 retirees in this one, testament to driving standards and car preparation. And that even more so for the man leading the race who's going to take the checkered flag. That is Mark Grice in the 34 car, who goes down towards the checkered flag. Grice buzzes the pit wall and takes the checker, wins round 12. Danny Hobson second, David Vincent third, Chris Coomer held on well for fourth position, then James Griffith and Jason Ballantyne. Danny Reason seventh from Rob Baker and Ben Sharp. Paul Taylor completes the top 10. Scott Edgar next. David Buki did pick up a penalty. He's classified 12th from Matt Bolton and Lewis Rose. Then Ollie Barsby and Adam Kruger. Luke Handley 17th from Cam Tunio. Paul McHugh and Craig Carter in 20th. Fastest lap of the race to Daniel Reason. Championship standings leaving Brands Hatch like this. Rob Baker 19 points clear of Mark Grice. Jason Ballantyne third from Daniel Reason. James Griffith in 5th position ahead of Danny Hobson. Then David Vincent in 7th.
Mark, congratulations on your win. That really tightens the championship battle and makes it all down to the wire in Donington.
It certainly does, not even just for first place. You know, you've got Dan Reason and Jason Ballantyne just behind me, chasing me, and they closed points this morning. So to get that win meant a lot to me, and to close the gap on Rob, and to take it to the last round just shows how tight this championship really is.
Very close racing all weekend. We've seen that particularly with some of the safety cars and how people have responded on the restart. Was that something that you were mindful of as well in this second race?
Yes, I've never really set off behind a safety car, especially not being first person set off. So as soon as it come out, I got in my mind what I was going to do, and I just stuck with it so that I didn't change my mind. And to be fair, I did set off a little bit too early, and I had to back off before it come in the pit lane. I thought I was going to overtake it at one stage.
Something you've got to be very careful of. Well, congratulations once again, and we look forward to seeing how the championship develops in the final rounds.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Dan, well done on your second place. Not an easy race here at Brands Hatch in the end, but you've come through with a bit of silverware to take home.
Yeah, it's such a close competitive series that there's nowhere to overtake. We're all bumper to bumper. You have a dive, you can cause an accident, and no, it was great. Just a shame the safety car came out in that one, because me and Mark were having a really good battle there, and we sort of pulled away a bit, and no, it was great.
David, congratulations on your third place. Tough racing out there, even more so with the safety car.
Yeah, I did my usual and got an average start. People like Mark and Danny, they always seem to get a better start. I normally lose 3 or 4 places and then maybe pick up 1 or 2, but luckily I only managed to lose a couple of places and get back up to third, so I'm really happy with that.